So, good morning, students. I am Dr. Vijay Bhandari. So, let's start with the DBMS systems. Okay, so what is the DBMS systems? We will discuss here today. So, DBMS is a collection of programs that facilitates users to create and maintain a database. As we can say, in other words, DBMS provides us an interface or tool for performing different operations, such as creation of a database, inserting data into it, deleting data from it, and updating the data. Now we will talk about DBMS software. So DBMS is a software in which data is stored in a more secure way as compared to the file-based system. Using DBMS, we can overcome many problems such as data redundancy, data inconsistency, easy access, more organized and understandable. We can use many softwares like there is a name of some popular database management system, MySQLs and Oracle's SQL servers, Amazon Simple DB. It is based on cloud-based. Okay, so finally we can say DBMS is a collection of programs that facilitates users to create and maintain a database. Right. Now we will see in the next slide the working of a database management systems. So here you can see, say this diagram. This diagram shows and refers to technology solutions used to optimize and manage the storage and the retrieval of the data from database. DBMS offers a systematic approach to manage the database via an interface for user as well as workloads accessing the database through different apps. Okay, so here we can see, say in this diagram, there is a working of database management systems. We are keeping a record of students and employee in this database, and when we want or when we need this record, so we write a query and fetching these records from the database. So we are writing a website code that is called sometimes programs, and it will generate a query through a DBMS, MySQL, Oracle softwares, and searching these queries and from the database and getting the output. So finally, it means the term database is defined as any collection of electronic records that can be processed to produce useful information. The data can be accessed, modified, managed, controlled, and organized to perform various data processing operations. Right? So data is typically indexed across rows, columns, and tables that makes workload processing and data querying efficient. There is a different types of database include object-oriented, relational, distributed, hierarchical network, and others. We will see in the next slide. Okay. If we talk about the enterprise applications, database involves mission critical, security sensitive, and compliance focused records items that have complicated logical relationships with other data sets and grow exponentially over times as the user base increases. We can see the result. These organizations require technology solutions to maintain, secure, manage, and process the data stored in database. This is where database management systems come into play. So, hope so you are understanding definition of DBMS. So I repeat the database management systems definition. Sometimes it refers to technology solutions used to optimize and manage the storage and retrieval of the data from database, as we can see in this diagram. So most of the time DBMS offers a systematic approach to manage the database via an interface for users as well as workloads, accessing the database through the apps. The management responsibilities for DBMS encompass informations within the databases. The processes applied to databases such as access and modifications and the database logic structure. DBMS allow facilitates additional administrative operations such as change management, disaster recovery, compliance, and performing monitoring, among others. Now, we will see what is database. So, in order to facilitate the DBMS having a logical, consistent, and organized collection of data that it can be easily accessed, managed, and updated. So database, also known as electronic database, are structured to provide the facility of creation, insertion, updating of the data efficiently, and are stored in the form of a file or set of files on the magnetic disk, tapes, and another sort of secondary device. We will see the database mostly consisting of objects like a table, and table including the records and fields. And fields are the basic units of data storage which contains the information about the particular aspects or attributes of the entity described by the database. So we can say here finally DBMS is used for extractions of the data from the database in the form of the queries. Now the questions comes in our mind, what is the software? So software DBMS is a primarily a software system that can be considered as a management console or an interface to interact with and manage databases. The interfacing also spreads across real-world physical systems that contribute data to the backend database. The operating systems, networking, software, and the hardware infrastructure is involved in creating, accessing, managing, and processing the database. Now, other question comes in our mind: data. What is the data? So, DBMS contains operational data, accessing to database records, and metadata as a resource to perform the necessary functionality. So these data may include files such as index files, administrative informations, and data dictionaries used to represent data flows, ownerships, structures, and relationships to other records or objects. Right? Now other facts is procedures. DBMS software or procedures can be considered as instructions on using DBMS. The documented guidelines assisted users in designing, modifying, managing, and processing databases. Now we will see the database languages. But before this, what is the database systems? The collection of database and DBMS software together is known as database systems. Through the database systems, we can perform many activities like the data can be stored in the database with ease and there is no issues of data redundancies and data inconsistency. Second point, the data will be extracted from the database using DBMS software whenever required, right? Finally, the combination of the database and DBMS software enables one to store, retrieve, and access data with considerate accuracy and security. So finally, we can say the collection of database and DBMS software together is known as database systems. So in this, we will talk about the database languages. Database languages, these are the components of the DBMS used to access, modify, store, and retrieve the data items from the database. Specify database schema, control user access, and perform other associated database management operations. These are the types of DBMS languages like DDL, that is data definition languages, DML, data manipulation languages, and DCL, data control languages. And last is TCL, that is transaction control languages. So these are the languages here. So we will cover in third lecture database languages in very detail. Okay, so thank you. If any doubts, so you can ask me. Thanks for the day.